So today we're going to be checking out Sauvage Parfum. Going to do a full review on this one. Been going through, looking at my collection, looking at some of the top fragrances that I haven't reviewed yet. I just want to go ahead and cover them. Obviously this is not a new release anymore. Elixir is all the talk. I've gone ahead and covered that one. First impressions, review, 10 reasons why you may consider buying it, that sort of thing. And so Parfum, I did do a first impressions on this when it first came out, but I missed the actual full review. I have featured it here and there in videos and stuff, but I wanted to get this video out there just to help you guys out, whether you're finding this channel because you searched for a review on this, welcome to the channel, or if you're a longtime subscriber and you would like to hear my thoughts on Sauvage Parfum, here it is for you. I'm going to tell you how this one smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, and ultimately, if I think this is worth picking up. Let's get it. So what I really like about Sauvage Parfum is the opening for one. Now, this has a very nice creamy orange opening, which is something that you wouldn't expect when you take a look at Sauvage EDT and even the EDP. Those are bergamot and peppery and ambroxan heavy right out of the gate. Like, you can't avoid any of that. So they really don't have a smooth or creamy opening. They have a pretty invigorating, vibrant, bright, and kind of obnoxious opening. But Sauvage Parfum opens up with such a smooth, citrusy, creamy orange with a bit of a creamy sandalwood right off the top. It smells heavenly right out of the gate. We will take a look at the full note breakdown here. We don't have too much to go over. Bergamot, mandarin orange, and elemi up top. In the mid, we have sandalwood. In the base, we have olibanum, tonka bean, and vanilla. I love that note breakdown. I do. And what do you notice here? Quite a bit different than the other Sauvages, right? EDT, EDP, that is. There's bergamot, cool. There is no ambroxan, no black pepper, and probably missing some other key Sauvage components as well. So when Sauvage gets kind of a bad reputation, being that it is very loud, maybe on the more immature side, at least depending on who wears it, of course, it just kind of gets that type of stamp labeled onto it after how popular it's been. You may be inclined to avoid other Sauvage fragrances in the future, and I can understand why. But I want to reiterate this here and say that the Parfum and Elixir, for that matter, are kind of their own subset and quite a bit different than the EDT and EDP. So, you know, that's valuable information. That's something that I think everyone should know if you're in the market for a fragrance and maybe you want to give Sauvage a shot because, you know, people do like to wear it. It is very versatile, you know. It just is a Christian Dior fragrance with a great bottle, great magnetic cap, all that stuff. Maybe you want to like it, but you can't get into the EDT and EDP. This is where the Parfum and the Elixir comes in. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Now, to dive into the scent further here, you get a good amount of sandalwood, like I had said a minute ago, but that comes through into the dry down as well. So it's a creamy, kind of sweeter, woody note. Sandalwood is quite a bit different than other notes, like for example, a cedarwood, where cedarwood, depending on how it's used, can come across more masculine overall. I think it can come across a bit more dry, sometimes spicy as well. It's quite a bit different, and I'm a big fan of cedarwood, but I also really like sandalwood when it's done in a way like this, in a combination with notes like this, where it just gives off a creamy, smooth, kind of lower profile smell. It's nothing that's gonna assault your nose with a bunch of spiciness or a dry, woody smell. It's very pleasing. You get a little bit of the vanilla in the dry down, adding to some sweetness. Same with the olibanum, and even a bit of tonka bean, which gives off a powdery, dusty type of smell. It's citrusy, it's ambery, it's warm, kind of aromatic. It still has a little bit of a fresh, spicy smell to it, but not done anywhere near the extreme as some of the others in the lineup here. Let's go ahead and touch on performance. Longevity on my skin is very good. You know, it is a true Parfum concentration, and so typically what will happen here is that a fragrance like this will excel in longevity, last a very long time, but then the projection may be a bit lower given the heavy amount of oils in here and just how it's concentrated. So longevity on my skin is usually around 9, 10 plus hours. At that point, if it lasts any longer, that's cool, but I really don't need it to. And also it can be hard to kind of judge it past that point. You know, with fragrances like this, you really can't spray it in an area like right underneath your neck, at least for me, because it will cause olfactory fatigue and that will interfere with your performance testing. Obviously, you can't really spray it on the back of your hand and test performance, which if you wash your hands, which I tend to do throughout the day, it's going to be gone, right? That defeats the purpose. So when it comes down to performance testing, you know, and I want it to be on my skin all day, I got to choose somewhere that's not my hands where they're going to be washed. And usually for me, it's the neck area, but instead of spraying it up front, I'll spray it on the back of my neck and on the sides. And so that keeps it out of direct contact with my nose. And so as I'm walking throughout the day, I'll get whiffs of it, right? And I don't find myself getting too nose blind, and that makes it easier to test performance. And as you would imagine with the projection here, it's a bit on the softer side, at least comparatively speaking to the EDT and the EDP, which to be frank, both are quite heavy in terms of the projection there, especially the EDT. It's a very loud scent. For me, I like the fact that the Parfum behaves like a Parfum and is a bit more quiet and refined, because I don't always want something that's going to be super obnoxious. I think this has almost more of a signature scent attitude to it, everything from the smell to the performance and delivery, to where if you're someone who works in an environment where it would be inappropriate to wear something super loud, this would be the Sauvage you could go for. Whereas if you were to wear the EDT, you might get a few dirty looks. And also just for the guys who are maybe a bit more introverted, you don't want to, you know, attract a bunch of attention to yourself and have people commenting on your scent and stuff, then you could go for the Parfum, which will leave a bit more of a trail, but it won't have quite the distance as the EDT. So I find performance on this one to be very solid all around. Now let's talk about when you can wear this scent. So for me, it's definitely more of a kind of all year rounder. If I had to choose seasons for it, it would be probably, I guess, fall into winter time, early spring, because it's still usually pretty cold, at least here in early spring. Still kind of feels like winter, honestly. So just, I would say cooler weather is when I would reach for this more, given the vanilla, tonka bean, the sweetness that it picks up there. But if you were someone who wanted to grab it and wear it all year round, you definitely could. Now, this is one of those fragrances where you don't have to stress yourself out and be deciding, okay, I can only wear this for this situation at this time of year. It's not like that. There are some fragrances out there which you may want to be a bit more critical with and maybe limit it to, you know, cool weather only, warm weather only, casual only, formal only, that sort of thing. This is one where you got a whole bunch of lenience, and you could get away with wearing this to just about anything, anywhere, anytime. It's just so versatile. It works great for basically everything. And that's good. You know, not everyone wants a fragrance that you had to be super strategic about, right? If you're looking to build up a smaller collection, you want something super versatile, something that you can get your money's worth out of, Sauvage Parfum is one of the best options within the lineup. I would say this and probably Elixir have overall the most versatility in terms of just not being too loud or too casual. Compliment factor is still just on top of the game here with this one. All of the Sauvages are going to be mass-pleasing monsters, so there's no need to worry about that. When it comes down to it, though, I would say the EDT probably would still be all around the best one, given how loud it is, and also because it's kind of strong and sharp and peppery, it turns heads more. And so I would say that one would probably still take the cake, and still it has a bit more of a playful vibe, which will attract the younger crowd more, and they'll give compliments more. But this is still going to smell very good to most people around you. If you wear this out and about, you're going to smell great. Even if people aren't telling you, they're going to be thinking it. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. That was my full review on Sauvage Parfum by Dior. Let me ask you this. 1, what do you think of Sauvage Parfum? What's your favorite from the lineup? And 2, what are some fragrances that I haven't reviewed yet that aren't new releases that you would like to see? I want to build up a backlog. I want this channel to be a useful tool for you, right? So it'd be nice, obviously this would never happen, but it'd be nice for just about any fragrance to be on the channel where you can search and find a review. There's so many tens of thousands of fragrances out there that's never going to happen. But I want to cover my bases with all of the main ones, the major fragrances. So if you're ever looking and you're like, hey, I wonder what Chaos Fragrances says about this or that, you can search for it and I'll have a review. That's what I'm trying to work towards here, slowly but surely. So just search my channel, like Chaos Fragrances, and then the fragrance you're looking to see if I have a review on. And if some of your favorites don't show up, drop them down below and I'll try to cover them over time. Now I will provide links down below to Sauvage Parfum and some of the other Sauvage fragrances as well, so you can check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.